Uncut Gems is a 2019 American crime thriller film directed by Josh and Benny Safdie, who co-wrote the screenplay with Ronald Bronstein. The film stars Adam Sandler, Kevin Garnett, Lakeith Stanfield, Julia Fox, Mike Francesa, Idina Menzel, and Eric Bogosian. The plot follows Howard Ratner, a jeweler and gambling addict in New York City's Diamond District, who gets in over his head with loan sharks and must retrieve an expensive gem he purchased in order to pay off his debts. Filming for the project took place from September to November 2018. Uncut Gems had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival on August 30, 2019, and was theatrically released on December 13, 2019 by A24. The film received critical acclaim, with its screenplay, direction, Sandler's performance and Arise Kanji's cinematography receiving much of the praise, and was chosen by the National Board of Review as one of the top 10 films of 2019, with Sandler also winning Best Actor. 6. It became one of A24's single quote's highest-grossing releases, having made $37 million. In 2010, an accident occurs at an African mine operated by Ethiopian Jewish workers. During the commotion, two miners sense an opportunity and retrieve a rare and valuable black opal, leaving it embedded in a piece of rock, hence an uncut gem. In 2012, Howard Ratner runs a jewelry store in New York's Diamond District, while struggling to pay back gambling debts, particularly $100,000 to a loan shark named Arno. His domestic life is split between his employee and mistress Julia, and his estranged wife Dinah, who has agreed to divorce him after Passover. One day, Howard receives the rock containing the opal, hidden in a crate of fish. Estimating the value of the rock at over $1 million, he plans to auction it off. Demeni, an associate who obtains customers for Howard, brings basketball player Kevin Garnett to the shop to buy jewelry. Garnett becomes obsessed with the opal and insists on holding on to it for good luck at his game that night. Howard reluctantly agrees, taking Garnett's championship ring as collateral and immediately pawning it in order to place a large bet on the game, planning to buy it back with his winnings. Howard wins his bet on the game, but Demeni informs him that Garnett wishes to keep the opal longer. Howard is later ambushed at his daughter's school play by Arno and his bodyguards, Phil and Nico. When Howard explains that he can pay him back with the money he won, Arno reveals that he placed a stop on the bet, as it was made with money owed to him. Phil and Nico then strip Howard naked and lock him in the trunk of his own car, forcing him to call Dinah to unlock it for him. Becoming desperate, Howard rushes that night to find the opal at a party hosted by the Weend, and ends up getting into a fight with the singer after discovering him and Julia together in a bathroom. Howard angrily chastises Julia and throws her out of his apartment despite her insistence that she remained faithful to him. During Passover dinner, it is revealed Arno is actually Howard's brother-in-law. When Howard brags about the opal to their father-in-law Gui and how much money it will bring, Arno notices and takes an interest in the upcoming auction. Garnett soon returns the opal and offers Howard $175,000 for it, but Howard refuses given the substantially larger appraisal. Demeni angrily quits when he learns that Howard pawned Garnett's ring, as well as other clients' collateral. Just before the auction starts, Howard is devastated to discover the opal has been appraised for significantly lower than his estimate, for only $150,000. Desperate, he convinces Gui to bid on the gem to drive up the price, but this backfires when Garnett bows out before the bid reaches $200,000 and Gui wins. Arno, Phil, and Nico confront him outside of the auction, punch him in the face, and throw him into a fountain. Howard returns to his shop battered and emotionally broken, where Julia comforts him and the two repair their relationship. Immediately afterward, Howard receives a call from Garnett's assistant informing him that Garnett still wants to buy the opal for $175,000. Howard retrieves Garnett's championship ring from a pawnshop by exchanging his own Knicks championship ring as collateral, and finally completes the deal for the opal. Instead of immediately paying off his debts, Howard becomes obsessed with betting on Garnet's connection with the opal. He gives the money to Julia, instructing her to put it all on Garnet's game that night. She takes the money and boards a helicopter to the Mohegan Sun, barely escaping Arno, Phil and Nico, who have come to collect. They become furious when they learn of the bet and try to pursue Julia, but Howard locks them in the vestibule of the store as they try to leave. Howard quickly calls Dinah, telling her there is a gas leak in their house in order to get her and their kids out of potential danger. He then frantically watches the game with his money on the line, with Arno and his muscle watching alongside. Ultimately, Howard's bet pays off, winning him over $1.2 million. While Howard celebrates and releases the trio from the vestibule, an angry Phil suddenly shoots him in the head. A horrified Arno protests and tries to escape, but Phil kills him as well. Dinah, concerned Howard is in danger due to recent events, calls the police. An overjoyed Julia leaves Mohegan Sun with the winnings on her way back to Howard, unaware that he has been murdered. While Phil and Nico loot the store of its contents as the sound of police sirens is heard in the distance. Cast: Adam Sandler as Howard Ratner, a Jewish-American Diamond District jeweler who is addicted to gambling. Julia Fox as Julia, Howard's employee and girlfriend. Idina Menzel as Dinah Ratner, Howard's wife. Lakeith Stanfield as Demeni, Howard's assistant, who recruits clients. Kevin Garnett as himself, a power forward for the Boston Celtics. Eric Bogosian as Arno, Howard's brother-in-law and a loan shark. Keith Williams Richards as Phil, Arno's quick-tempered henchman. Judd Hirsch as Gooey, Howard's father-in-law. Mike Francesa as Guri, Howard's bookie. Noah Fisher as Marcel Ratner, Howard's daughter. Jonathan Aranbaeff as Eddie Ratner, Howard's older son. Jacob Igielski as Benny Ratner, Howard's younger son. Wayne Diamond as Wayne, a wealthy gambler who takes a liking to Julia. Josh Ostrovsky as Noah. Benji Kleiner as Aaron. Pom Klementif as Lexus. Tommy Kaminik as Nico. Karen Schemmel as Eileen Goldfarb. Sahar Bibayan as Ida. Lana Levitin as Ruth. Production. In May 2016, it was announced Josh and Benny Safdie would direct the film. From a screenplay they wrote alongside Ronald Bronstein. 8. The film was executive produced by Emma Tillinger-Koskoff and Martin Scorsese, with Elara Pictures and RT Features producing the film. 8. In May 2017, Jonah Hill joined the cast of the film, with Scott Rudin, Eli Bush, Sebastian Bear McClar joining as producers, and A24 distributing. 1. In April 2018, Adam Sandler joined the cast of the film, replacing Hill. 9. He was the original choice to star in the film, being approached for the role in 2009, when the Safdies came up with the film. 10. However, at the time, he declined the role. 10. In August 2018, Eric Bogosian and Judd Hirsch joined the cast of the film. 11. 12. In September 2018, Lakeith Stanfield and Idina Menzel joined the cast of the film, with Netflix acquiring international distribution rights to the film. 13. 14. In October 2018, it was revealed that Wayne, Trinidad James and Pom Klementif had joined the cast of the film. 15. 16. In November 2018, Kevin Garnett joined the cast. 17. Amar Singhal-Koti Stoudemire and Joel Embiid were also considered for the role. 17. Principal photography began in September 2018 in New York City. 18. Production concluded on November 15, 2018. 19. The film was shot by Darius Kanji on 35mm film. 20. Daniel Lopatin composed the score for the film. 21. He also recorded several songs with the Ween for the film, but they were eventually left out. 22. The score was released on December 13, 2019, on CD and vinyl, and digital streaming services. 23 songs not included on the score but used in the film include Type of Way by Rich Homie Quan, The Morning by The Wind, The Stranger by Billy Joel, and Swimming Pools Drank by Kendrick Lamar. According to Josh and Benny Safdie, the opening and closing sequences were inspired by the gemological photomicrography of Edward Gubelin and Danny J. Sanchez. Release: the film had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival on August 30, 2019. 26/27. It also screened at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 9, 2019. 28. It was released in the United States on December 13, 2019, and had a nationwide release on December 25, 2019. 29. It will be released worldwide excluding America on Netflix on January 31, 2020. Box office. In its limited opening weekend, the film made $537,242 from 5 theaters for a per-venue average of $107,448, the highest ever for A24 and the second best total of 2019. 31. It then made $241,431 in its second weekend. 32. The film made $5.9 million on the first day of wide release, including $1.1 million from previews on Christmas Eve. The highest single-day grossing A24 single quote's history. 33. It went on to make a total of $18.5 million over the 5 days, $9.6 million in the weekend, finishing 6th at the box office. 34. In its second weekend of wide release, the film made $7.5 million, finishing 8th. Critical response. Adam Sandler's performance garnered widespread critical acclaim, with several critics deeming it one of the best of his career. On review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 92% based on 231 reviews, with an average rating of 8.34/10. The site's critical consensus reads, Uncut Gems reaffirms the Safdies as masters of anxiety-inducing cinema, and proves Adam Sandler remains a formidable dramatic actor when given the right material. 36. Metacritic assigned the film a weighted average score of 89 out of 100, based on 49 critics, indicating universal acclaim. 37. Audiences polled by CinemaScore during the film's limited release gave it an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale. Upon going wide, it earned a C+ score, as well as an average 2 out of 5 stars on Post-Track. 31. 34. Eric Kahn of IndieWire gave the film a grade of A, calling it a riveting high-wire act, pairing cosmic visuals with the gritty energy of a dark psychological thriller and sudden bursts of frantic comedy. 38. Jake Cole of Slant Magazine gave the film 3.5 out of 4 stars, writing, As in good time, Uncut Gems finds the Safdies working in genre rooted in the grimy, character-oriented crime films of the 70s. 39. Radhay and Simon Pillay have now commented that there's so much propulsive forward momentum even when the characters never get anywhere. 40. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter wrote, Many will agree that this is Sandler's best performance, and the Safdies will finally move from the fringes of the commercial film scene to somewhere closer to the center. 41. In her roundup of the 2019 Toronto International Film Festival, Wendy Ide of The Guardian ranked Uncut Gems as one of the best films of the year, calling it audacious, thrilling and exhausting, and Sandler's remarkable performance as one of the best performances of the year, and praising the cinematography. 42. Kevin Garnett's performance in his movie debut was also received positively. Brady Langman of Esquire called it the year's best breakout performance, and Alan Siegel wrote on The Ringer that it was one of the best acting performances by an athlete ever.